I'm not sure I understand.
You don't have to. Just tell everyone.
A ship in the sky will sing the hymn of the faith? So, when they hear it, everyone should sing along, correct?
This is the Every FNFF podcast.
We're on the bus of the air.
That's right. And I am your host, Curtis.
I'm Carl.
And I'm Alex. And that's it. There's no one else.
No one else.
and no one else.
And this isn't a clever, like, our guest is being quiet right now, and then we're going to be like, oh my god, it's Ted Cruz, fresh off his vacation in Cancun.
We're not like most podcasts, which will blue ball you for like 20 minutes of banter before they actually introduce the guest.
Yeah.
No,
if we do, it's unintentional.
If Ted Cruz was here, we would send him immediately.
Yeah, send that MF.
Yeah, but good job, boys. We completed the pilgrimage. We're done.
Hell yeah.
It's over.
We saw the credits. At the end, Sephiroth came up to us and said he wants to talk to Titus about the Genova initiative. That was pretty cool. Sora was in there, Donald Duck, you know.
And all your favorite. And you were there. And you were there. And you were there.
And Bruce Willis was an unsent as well.
Bruce Willis is just an unsent.
I actually did see that coming.
Yeah, so we are back on the airship. I don't know if it ever gets a name. It is the Fahrenheit, but like,
Yeah.
I don't know if anyone ever says it.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember if anyone said it or if we just said it. I don't recall, but it's the Fahrenheit.
But I like the scene that we like start on when we're in the bridge. It's just like very quiet. You can hear like the running of the engine in the background, and there's just no music, and everybody's just like standing there completely quietly. And brother asks, "Where to now?" Because he's in the pilot seat, and Sid turns around and like one by one looks at all the party members, and everybody's just being completely silent, right? Like no one's saying anything.
Yeah.
And he just says,
"Aren't we the happy-looking bunch?"
And brother's still asking like where?
"Yeah, right."
And Riku's like kind of razzing him.
Yeah, he's like, asshole, that doesn't answer my question. You grilling everyone is not helping the situation.
Right. Yeah.
And but yeah, Riku's like, where? That's all you can say? Why don't you think of something? And Arin's like, well, any good ideas? Which is a good question. Like,
yeah, I know.
We kind of just we're
taking it off the grid, everybody.
Yeah, because like up until this point, everything in this like 60 hours worth of game has been like pretty laid out for us, pretty like, oh well, we need to go here, this is what happened, like this is 1,000 years of tradition, we can, we know where to go next. And now we're just kind of like, okay,
it's
so
like the end of the show and we don't know who we have to talk to get paid.
Yeah, and you just keep talking, like waiting for someone else to bring it up. You're like, chatting with the sound guy, and he's talking about like the band that he played with in the 80s and how they, were real rock and roll and stuff. And you're like, yeah, sick, man. That's right on. Yeah. Oh, that's how you got your tone cool. Yeah. Like looking around for anyone. But yeah, so Titus then like it brings it up as well. He says, "So what do we do?" And Arin's like, "We think and we wait." And then he just fucking leaves.
Yeah.
And Titus has two things I'm bad at.
Yeah, right.
Nice self-own. Another point for Titus.
He's growing.
Then we get like a really like, it's kind of a neat scene. We see Yuna walk into the bridge, right? And then as soon as she crosses the threshold of the bridge in the hallway, the game goes first person, and we're seeing like everything through Yuna's perspective, right?
Oh,
and she's
yeah.
like slowly, or wait, no, I'm sorry, I take that back. It's second person perspective. And we're looking right back at Yuna's eyes for a second. And like as she turns her head, the camera like turns to be in front of her head. So it's like in front of her face at all times. It's really weird.
Yeah.
But
it's a little dramatic.
It's very dramatic, yeah.
She goes up to Sid and bows.
Dude, this is the part in FF10 that like got me a little weepy. Oh, Alex,
Oh,
don't
yeah,
show
for
it to
sure.
me. Don't show it to me. Like, I am not the type to get weepy at a video game, but like, ooh boy, whenever the scene comes up, I'm always like, Don't
Are
cry,
you
old
shocked at
boy.
my tears, sir? Strong men also cry, Mr. Lebowski. Strong men also cry.
Oh yeah, that was Big Lebowski. I thought it was the Powerpuff Girls.
Well, they do reference Big Lebowski and Powerpuff Girls.
Quite a lot.
But
it's so
Yuna
good.
walks up to Sid, and like they stand there and kind of look at each other in silence for a couple seconds, and then she just does like a deep bow, right? And when she comes back up, she looks, and Sid has turned around, right? Like his back is now to her,
Yeah,
and I
he's
think that she's
facing
just like,
the skies.
yeah, and I think she's just like accepting of the situation now. Like she has accepted that Sid is. There's the thing that Sid was worried about is over, right?
Yeah.
Kind of in a way, even though we have much bigger problems. But then the camera shows Sid's face, and he is on the verge of tears. And like every time I see his face in this scene, I'm like, oh god.
Reminds me of Hank Hill's dad in this picture.
Oh, yeah, he does look like Cotton Hill.
Just like
So he is Keenock's dad then. Or grandfather, I guess. But yeah, I think it actually also shows some tears, doesn't it? I don't know.
It
if I
shows
just
his eyes
made
being
that up.
all like watery and shiny.
Yeah, it's like watering up, and it's a really powerful scene. Obviously, like you wouldn't expect Sid of all people to do this, but it's also
he's so gruff. Yeah,
I gotta say, it's kind of goofy, just like with just the graphics of the time. Like I don't want to knock on the game too much because of the graphics, because obviously that's a fucking boring thing to do with a game this old. But like I couldn't help but like, even though I was choked up, I was also kind of like,
yeah, I know. He got me. But then we're in control of Titus again, right? And we
we see Kimari come in, and Yuna go up to Kimari, and then they kind of just like walk in the opposite direction, and then we get control of Titus again. Yeah,
and then we level up
yeah.
again. So we got Traveler's
the
Save
spheres
Sphere.
do shit again.
Yeah, level 3. The save
Level
spheres
3,
can
you can now
teleport.
play Blitzball again.
And we can also teleport back to the airship thanks to Rin the Albed.
Hell yeah.
It says at the end
Thanks,
there.
Rin.
So I like that, like Rin was just like working on the save spheres like while we were busy.
Yeah, he was just like, you know what? I got a teleportation shit now, so I'll go around and put these on all the save spheres all around fucking
Right.
Spira.
Yeah, right. He like found his way into Xanarkand and like did the one at the bottom of the elevator. Rin is dedicated, is what I'm saying. But yeah, we can talk to our party members, and they're all saying something along the lines of like, I'm thinking, I don't know what to do, still thinking. Like, pretty much everybody
exactly.
says that. Yeah.
Waka is like, so much for the final Aeon solving everything.
Yeah. Solving everything, I would have killed Yuna, you bastard. I do like Oren, if you talk to him in the hallway, he says, you rush this and we'll lose everything. We need to plan carefully. And I was like, ooh.
Yeah.
I love a
Which is
good
good
plan.
advice for Titus, because that's usually his only move.
Right.
Titus rushes in. And I think most people on the ship are all bed, right?
Yeah.
We don't have any summoners floating around. We don't
I-
see.
No summoners.
I will say, like, I don't know if I've said this before, but I love the idea that, like, at the beginning of the game, the Albed were very like mysterious, and it was like a big deal whenever they showed up, right? Like, like in DeLuca, like that was a big deal. And then we did Operation Mihin, that was a big deal. And like now it's like, no, that's our home team though. Now, like, we have found our home team, and it is the Albed. Like that's us, and I love that.
Go Sykes.
Go Sykes.
Yeah, it's much like Paul Atreides and the Fremen. Titus is their Muad'Dib.
Actually, I did talk to I do like every scene that plays out from here till the end of the game, they like refresh all of the Albed's dialogue. Like there are so many different chunks of dialogue for all the Albed.
Yeah.
It's really good.
Yeah,
I like when you go to the Sykes, basically their quarters where the Sykes are all hanging out. One of them says, I think his name's Jutta, but his name is, he says, you are a traitor, no? then you are one with the Albed.
I like the guy who says, "I must train, or the airship will rob me of my muscles."
I do love that. That's really good. I like that. I'm looking at the script on Arenlu that we've been using.
Yeah.
And I do really like this line. I wanted to bring it up anyway, but it's with this ship, revenge against the followers of Yevon will be ours, which is very cool. But the cooler part of it is that whoever wrote up the script, like whoever transcribed it, named this character Kayaku clone. So it's like it has the
Kayaku
same.
clone.
Yeah, it's like, yo, damn, they cloned him. That's sick.
Never forget Kayaku.
No, he's just that fast. He's on the top deck and the bottom.
Yeah. Let's see here. There's a whole bunch of Albed on the ship, so like instead of going through every single like dialogue or whatever, I'll just say that most of them have like statements about the fact that we're still in the airship and here's the state of the world and whatnot. I do like that one questions like, yo, why was Sin so calm when we like flew past it? Like, that's weird, and like, that is weird.
One of them's like, I'm just so sick of all these Sin wars.
But I think our objective, right, is to go to the viewing deck, right?
Yeah, we got to figure out what to do next. Like we're like we said, we're in uncharted territory, and pretty much the only thing that we can do at this point is talk to all of our party members. So we can kind of just go around and do that. On the observation deck, that is where Kimari and Yuna like took off to.
Right.
Again, the music that is playing now is Beyond the Darkness, which is a nice like kind of waltzy, fleeting string piano piece that I really like.
Yeah.
It's which Beyond the Darkness now kind of has a different meaning, I guess, in this context of the game.
I guess so, yeah.
Yeah.
It's cool.
But yeah, so we can go up to Yuna and talk to her, and she's just like,
I'm no good. At all.
What are you talking about?
All this time I've been thinking about how to defeat sin. But beyond the teachings of Yevon, I know nothing. I'm sorry.
and then Kamari comes in and is like, Yuna, no apologies. Apology is running. Yuna never run away. And she's like, oh, thank you, Kamari. And then like Titus asks Kamari, like, you got any good ideas? And Kamari is like, Yevon's teachings. Yuna says, the teachings won't help us fight sin. And Kamari says, no answer in the teachings. Answers lie outside. Must know both sides to find an answer. And like, I think I know what he's getting at there. Where he's like, yeah, we've always done everything according to the teachings to fight sin. Like, if it doesn't work, then there's a whole wealth of knowledge and a breadth of knowledge outside of that we should look at instead.
Yeah.
And I like that he says, Micah knows much. Find him and make him talk. And I was like, let's get him.
Yeah, he must be like, thinking like not just the teachings of Yevon, but like not just the mouth of Yevon, but like I gotta go like higher than the teachers, I guess is what he's saying.
Yeah, I think
so
let's talk to the teachers, not listen to teachings, because there's stuff that they're not telling us.
Yeah,
right.
At first I was kind of thinking like, oh, okay, the teachings of Yevon, that's kind of what we've been following. Now we need like more the teachings that like as the Albed understand it and their take on it, because that's always been the other side or whatever. But then it's like, with what we're about to do and how it all plays out, like it makes sense that it's like, oh no, like we have been taught things and that's all we know. But like the other side of it is obviously all this shit where we learned like everyone's fucking unsent and it's got all this darkness surrounding it that like no one knew about. And like everyone at the top knows how like hopeless and cyclical all of this is. And we need to find out more about that to see like what we can do against it.
Right. And they make the plan to go back to Bavel now. And like before, I think the last time we went to Bavel, I was like, no, wait, we shouldn't go to Bavel. That's the last place that we should go. Let's not go there.
Yeah.
But this time I'm like, no, it's fine though. Like, we've already like ruined everybody at Bavel. Like,
yeah, what are we gonna have to do again? Kill Seymour again? Like,
yeah. We've already killed Seymour like multiple times. Keenock's already been wasted. Like, Mike is just an old unsent man. What are they gonna do? How are they gonna stop us?
Yeah.
I got so many sphere levels, boys.
Yeah, we've taken on zombie versions of the fucking monks that we had to kill the first time around. Like, I think we're good.
Yeah, these bullets don't even cause my HP to go reverse. It'll be fine.
So yeah, now we can go. What, we can go talk to Sid now? Is that
And
what
go back
we
to
do?
the bridge, and a funny scene begins when we get to the bridge. Where as soon as we walk in, Waka's like, "Hey guys, I just had a great idea," and then like Riku like puts her hand over his mouth and pushes him, and is like,
It was my idea. Let me tell them.
and then like Waka pushes her aside. He like runs in front of her and pushes her, and is like,
It's like this, yeah?
and she like, pushes him again. Oh, I just thought.
I think this is really cute because like Waka hated the Albed. Like,
I know.
And now they're like total like brother and sister kind of
I know.
dynamic going on, where
Yeah.
they're just like really giddy and like coming up with ideas together.
Yeah.
This
It's
is a
really
good
sweet.
Waka episode.
Yeah.
Also, I love it when character models like interact with each other like directly instead of just like doing the same generic like gestures at each other.
It's always very impressive to see.
Yeah. Instead of just being action figures that are like next to each other when you're playing with them. Like
Yeah.
they're actually like
But Lulu interrupts both of them and is like, "The hymn of the faith." And they like look at Lulu like, "Oh, you bitch, you stole our fucking thunder."
Yeah.
Like, it's so mad. But Titus is like, "Oh, the hymn," and Lulu says, "Sir Jecht likes the hymn of the faith, correct?" And Riku's like, "Yeah, that's why," or I'm sorry, Titus says, "Yeah." And Riku says, "That's why he was listening to it in Macalania." And Lulu says, "Sin, violence incarnate, listening peacefully." And yeah, so Waka like very how would you say that?
delicately.
Yeah, he's like very like sheepish. He's like, "Look, I know it's your old man, and I don't mean any disrespect, but," and Titus is like, "No, it's fine. I've gotten used to it."
Yeah.
And Lulu says, "If we attack Sin head on, we have little chance of winning. However, if he hears the hymn of the faith, he will become docile." And Waka says, "Yeah, and that's when we make our move. Might be against the rules and all, but who's keeping track, yeah?" I'm like, yeah, at this point we already have like attacked and dethroned God. Like,
Yeah. Killed
it's
the
fine.
Pope.
Yeah, we
Killed
killed
a few
the Pope.
maesters.
Yeah, killed
like, nothing
several
times.
levels above the Pope.
But yeah, so that's like the plan, I guess, going forward, or at least one that we're gonna look into is
So this must tie to, because as I was editing last week's episode, I noticed that the hymn in Unalesca's chambers or at the dome, it's still going even though we've beaten Unalesca.
okay.
So that might be why like Sin is just like pretty chilled out. When
Maybe.
because the hymn's still going there.
Yeah.
That-
I don't
that has
know,
something to
like-
do with it.
The
He just loves he loves that bop.
It would be really cute if every time the Hymn of the Faith played, Sin just kind of started acting like a cat and doing like the biscuits thing where it's like doing the kneading with its paws.
Oh, now I want to do like a make
It's
a
on-
version of the cat jam gif, but it's Sin jam.
Sin,
Just his
Sin
lead bopping
jam.
around.
Dude, okay. But yeah, so that's the plan.
We're just gonna sing a lullaby to Dad.
Yeah.
Yo, Jack, you know that new sound you're looking for?
Well, listen to this. Oh.
Oh.
I guess you weren't ready for that, but your kids are gonna love it.
I didn't realize that the Hymn of the Faith was dad rock.
Like whale songs.
But yeah, I do like that. Like, there's a bit of like an emotional change now on the Fahrenheit, because like when we first got onto it, there was just no music. You could only hear the sound of the engines, and everything was like the most solemn it's ever been in the game. And it's just like, oh, bad vibes all around. But
Yeah.
like now that we have a little bit of a plan, like everybody on the bridge is like, oh yeah, we're gonna get him this time. Like even Walker's like, I got a good feeling about this. And I'm like, yeah, let's get
Hell
him.
yeah.
But now we are finally allowed to go wherever we would like.
Fuck yeah.
I remember in FMV, I'm not sure what game it is, but Una has a microphone. Does she like do a cool pop remix of the hymn?
She does some pop songs. I don't know if she does one of the hymn. Dun, 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 dun.
If it's like Sweet Victory from like SpongeBob.
A new music project that I should work on is covering the Hymn of the Faith with a Vocaloid, so it's just like Hatsune Miku singing the Hymn of the Faith to save the world.
You don't have to put in any like any lyrics. It's all just ah. So
Yeah.
you just like leave it
Just
on the
pitching
default
it, yeah.
Vocaloid, like ah.
That's not like an Imogen Heap song.
Yo. hell
Yeah, right.
Yeah, just like program a synth to have like Hatsune Miku just making that noise.
So before we blast off and we end up going to Bevelle or wherever, I do really like Brother's dialogue before you like actually pick a location to go to. He says, "I have to warn you, thinking is not my forte. If you want to plan, go to somebody else. I have to fly the airship now. Bye." Love that. But yeah, we can go wherever we want now.
That's wild.
I think, so this brings up if you talk to Sid, that's how you like access the like ability to go anywhere. It's like in FF7 where you talk to the pilot and then you get control of the airship. A little different in this one, but Sid says, "Well, that sounds like a plan to me. My baby here will take us anywhere we want." Yeah. And then we get like a view of the map, and it's like cool. Like you can see the name.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah,
It looks like almost kind of a semi 3D like satellite image of what Spear would look like. It's kind of cool. It has like the sci-fi aesthetic to it.
Yeah.
And then floating above it, we have like where we assume we are, and then there's like nice arc of like almost like a flight pattern. If you're looking at like if you're on a plane, it shows your progress of your flight. This kind of reminds me of that.
You can actually, if you look closely, you can actually see the Fahrenheit on the screen.
Oh, what?
Cool. Like in its actual location. So it's at this point, right. It's at the very top there, and you can kind of there's a couple different things you can do here. There's list, input, and search. Yeah. And they have like different functions and stuff. Like basically,
it's like a GPS.
Yeah. Basically, what you do is you just go list, and it brings up a list of all the places that you can travel to, and then you select it. It's not like other Final Fantasies where you get to kind of fly around the world, which would have been cool, but also like doesn't really make sense in the.
There's no
overworld in this game. So yeah.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Do we know the coordinates to Dream Xanarkand yet?
Yeah, it's 420 69 311, I believe.
Yeah, if we so that's the search function, right? Is it actually like gives us GPS coordinates to like punch in to
our favorite locations? I guess. Yeah. To make it quick, like those, when you select any of those, well, first of all, Sid says, "Yeehaw, here we go."
Oh, so good.
But you basically just spawn like at the save point in like one of those areas.
Right. Yeah.
Which is how you get back on the ship too.
So one of the first things that I did after like this, which is a little later on, but doesn't really matter either way, was I just like tried the Calm Lands for like just a reason I'll get to later. But it just put me right at the save sphere in right outside of Rin's travel agency, and I'm like, oh, that's why Rin put all those there. It's good for business, you know. It's like when a Wawa gas station like opens up right off the highway. They like knock down a fucking like local like small business burger shop so that they can put in a Wawa, and you're like, fuck.
How's that pasta, by the way?
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah, it is pretty good.
It's a nice change from like all the other trash I get from Wawa. So if it's like, well, I don't feel like eating, you know, like this hoagie or, you know, whatever else I get from there tonight. Right. I can get some pasta though.
Anyway, sorry. But yeah, like right now, I don't think there's anywhere like too important to go back to besides Bevelle. Like we can start doing side quests at this point if we want.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot more. I'm looking at the script, and like now we're at the point where like everyone in the world now has like different dialogue because we're now at a point where we can actually go talk to them pretty easily, which is cool. Right, which we can talk about some other time.
Oh, I will say actually, now is the point because I mentioned this on an older episode. I forgot when, but I was like, at the moment that you should start doing Blitzball, I'll tell you, and that moment is now because at this point we can actually start recruiting other.
Ballers, as they are called. Yeah.
Indeed.
One of my first thoughts was like, oh shit, I need to go to Kilika and see if that old lady kicked the bucket yet so I can finally open that fucking chest.
And no, she has not, by the way.
Yeah, God damn it.
Damn it. Yeah, still can't open that chest.
She's also an unsent.
I will say, at this point, too, you can talk to Waka and get him to unretire from Blitzball and join back up.
Yo, that's pretty sick.
He's like Miyazaki.
Yeah, right.
I'm retiring. No, actually, one more.
Yeah, one more.
One more game.
Or he's like fucking Sakurai.
Yeah.
Smash Brothers Sakurai. He's like, no more Smash games. By the way, this is the last one, and we are only doing 4 DLCs. And then they like Nintendo just like gets like a cattle prod, and they just like hit him. And they're like, no, you need to make more. You need to add more Xenoblade characters to it. God damn it.
More Sword Boys.
I've already added a Fire Emblem character. It took 17 hours, but I did it.
But we did
it's done.
Yes, but we've got to do it again from different
Miyamoto's
angles.
just like again and again and again and again and again.
Oh, man.
Oh boy.
I will say that if you do pick Waka up for your Blitzball team.
Waka for Smash, come on.
Oh, yo, Waka for Smash.
We need less Sword Boys and more Ball Boys.
He would be a pretty good fucking character, yeah.
If you put him up front, so he's a good forward. He's like good at actually shooting the ball. But like I included him on my team, and he has 4 pass. Like his pass stat is 4. So if somebody's not like right on him, he just cannot pass to them. He just has like his kick, I guess, is incredible for when he like scores, but his throwing arm, like,
Listen, dude.
Waka should be incredible because he throws the blitz ball to attack enemies. He should have an incredible pass.
Listen, here's the thing, Curtis. He is a goal scorer, okay? He's not a fucking playmaker. You want a playmaker, you gotta get someone else, okay? That was also making me think, like, so,
you got to go to your Letties for that.
yeah. We've been kicking around the idea of doing like a stupid like stream of like someone playing blitzball and then us doing commentary over it and stuff. And that got me thinking too, like that really makes me want to do like a hockey like post-game interview that they always have in the locker room, which is always the same exact fucking conversation. Like no matter what, it's like, oh, you know, we were just putting blitzballs on net there, and we got a couple lucky bounces, and you know, some of the things went our ways. We were playing a very tough team with the goers there, but you know, some things bounced our way, and we got lucky on a couple drops, and we were just the better team tonight. But you know, we got a lot more blitzball to play down the road. So yeah, you know, this time worked out for us. Thank you so much. That was like my favorite thing to do anytime. Like I would just say shit like that, like while one of those was about to happen, and then they would basically say the exact same thing.
Back to you, Jimma.
God, that's awesome. And one last thing before we move on from that topic, I will say you can get the strongest blitzballer in the game all round right here as well. Like without going out of your way or anything. Brother is incredible.
Oh,
Yo, hell yeah.
Brother is nuts. He is just like, he can play any position and just has higher stats than anyone. Like, he's unbeatable. It's incredible. He also just has faster movement. Like, just his, like if you, when you're just moving him around with the analog stick, he's faster than any other blitzball player in the world.
Hell yeah.
And so, like, you like the thing you could do with Josu where you can make the train or whatever, you can, like, leave a train in the dust with Brother. You could, like, lap them and, like, come back up on them. Like, it's incredible.
what, salvaging.
Yeah, all
Yeah,
that
it makes
salvaging.
Yeah, he's probably like practiced in like real deep waters and shit.
Yeah.
He
pressure is like
single-handedly like grabbed the Fahrenheit out of the sea and swam it up to where they could use it. So like
Dude,
they don't have
with his
any
blitzball
equipment for
stats, I
that. That was
believe it.
all Brother, and that's why he's like maxed out on blitzball stats.
Dude, he's incredible. He's really good.
Hell yeah.
But Bavel?
Let's go to
Yeah.
Beevil.
One little thing I do really like is at the very bottom, when you go to like list and everything, it shows like your current location and the destination, and it's written in like, you know, the cool like Spencer's
Yeah.
gift.
Spirian script.
Yeah. So right now it's saying Xanarkand, and then there's like the 2 arrows and 2 Bavel.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, we can talk to Sid and select, I think it said, what, Highbridge or something like that as like a
Yeah.
new location, which means it's just basically where we saved before we fought Seymour.
Right.
Not Flux. First time we fought Seymour, maybe. The second time we fought Seymour.
What was his name there?
That is a good question.
Seymour Butts.
Butts.
Yeah.
Seymour Boss.
Bio bitch.
Bio bitch. That's right.
Yeah. It's now that I think about it, there's a Final Fantasy character named Butts, right?
Not Bart's.
Sort of. Yeah.
Bart's,
Butts. Yeah.
But I'm just saying, if in
My
World
son
of Final
is also
Fantasy,
named Butts.
if in World of Final Fantasy there isn't like a combo that you can use that involves Seymour and Butts that is called Seymour Butts, then I'm even more pissed at Nomura than I was before.
Hold on, where is that? Natus.
Natus.
Oh, yes. Of course. Who could
Nader.
forget?
Seymour Nader.
You may remember me from such boss fights as Seymour Flux.
Don't blame me. I voted for Natus.
But yeah, this is the save point that's closest to that boss battle, not to be confused with the one all the way down the ways that is, like, doesn't really make sense why it's there, that where like Kimari was like holding the spear or whatever. Like, I forget how it all works, but we're at the one.
We were just grinding on the bridge, basically.
Yeah. It seems
grind
like
on
a
the big
lifetime
bridge.
ago.
Yeah, God.
It is funny because like we saw Bavel from like an aerial point of view, and so I'm imagining we had like walked that entire bridge that looked like it was like 5 miles long.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Walk along it into the city.
It looks very much like the come to think of it, Bavel looks very much like the place in Star Wars Phantom Menace where like the big battle happens, like when simultaneously with Darth Maul, when they're like the different squads are doing the different like things to try and take over the capital or whatever.
Final Fantasy.
Like, this is the only road into Bavel, so you'd assume that there would be shitty like traffic, but we're the only ones here.
Yeah. Maybe it's maybe by like High Bridge, it's like an actual bridge, and we're like on top of it, and underneath it's like the Lincoln Tunnel kind of thing. And
I got to assume.
Yeah, the Lincoln Tunnel if it like went like straight to City Hall.
Yeah.
I got to assume that security has just really skyrocketed, and also there's probably some like color-coded state of emergency going on with all of the shit that we have wrought onto Bavel with our like, just dipshittery.
Well, dipshittery. Well, speaking of increased security, as soon as we walk up to the actual area where we fought Seymour at, like the front of the Capitol, the front of the Capitol building, I guess. Yeah. I don't know. As soon as we walk up,
office.
There are exactly 2 guards, and they're like,
yeah, like the last time we were here, they were like there was the
wedding was fucking
army.
packed.
Yeah. But there's
also we get a different view because like when last time we were here, we were only getting like a view of the camera facing like the Capitol, but now we get like a little bit of the back.
Yeah,
which you can see kind of the fake facade just ending there, but it's kind of funny just seeing how like long the bridge looks.
You know who I like to think these guards are? You know what I like to think their names are?
Biggs and Wedge.
Yeah. So just like it's such a weird choice. Like this is this game's Biggs and Wedge.
We were gonna say head canon. This is Biggs and Wedge.
Yeah, for sure. No, also real canon.
But they aim their guns at us and shout "infidel," and Waka just like slaps his forehead and says, "Man, don't these guys ever give up?"
It's so good.
Like, "You'll regret showing your face here. We'll strike you down in the name of Yevon." And then like
Titus
Riku
like,
and Titus
blah,
are both
blah,
just like,
So guys, and Riku's like, if they want to fight, let's give them one. And they're like, prepare to charge. It's like these 2 guys who like at this point like this is nothing to us. Like we have done
these
so
dudes
much.
probably
work.
have like 200 HP. Fuck off.
We just got back from killing like God.
Yeah, like or
the
like
one in charge of Yevon, basically,
or at least like God's like personal assistant. Like
right. But we're getting ready to rumble, and Shalinda comes out of the door and says, "Stop!" And the guards turn around and say, "Captain?" And I was like, "Captain? That seems like a poor choice."
Yeah.
They've had to really scrape the bottom of the barrel after we were here last
God,
time.
they'll just promote anyone, won't they?
Anyone here not dead?
And like I said before, they're like, I like Shalinda. She seems very friendly, but like, just because somebody is friendly does not make them a good like leader of something. Like, I don't know that like Shalinda is a good choice there.
She really is like Phoebe from Magic School Bus. She's like,
I thought you were gonna say friends, and I was trying to like connect the dots.
no, that's Riku. Riku's like Phoebe.
Yeah, hell yeah. AKA the best one.
Who is the Ross of the group?
I mean, I guess Titus.
I don't know. I've never seen Friends. I just know that is one of the characters' names.
Yeah. I guess probably why. It doesn't matter. Thinking too hard of this.
She says,
Lady Yuna is not to be harmed. She's no traitor. That is an evil rumor spread by the Albed.
Yeah, and Riku's
I
like,
was
wait,
like-
what's up? What the fuck?
What?
like that sentence took such a hard turn because I was like, yeah, Yuna's not a traitor. Glad to see everybody coming around. And then they were like, no, that was because of the Albed. And I was like, ooh,
Yeah.
ooh. Not good. Not great.
Yep.
Yeah, and even Riku's like, what? Like she's like personally
just like-
offended.
It's just like the charging on Capitol Hill, you know?
Yeah, it was actually Antifa that did it. Yeah.
The left's trying to make us look bad.
Shalinda says, Maester Micah himself told me. And they say, then what are we to do? And Riku says, stand down. Like very
I love
commanding.
the way she delivers it too. It's like it's
yeah.
like
Stand down!
her obviously like being kind of shitty about it. She's like, then stand down, like giving him
Yeah.
like a little bit of lip. It's so good.
Is she like trying to impersonate like Shalinda or something like that?
I thought she was
I
like
think she's
trying to like
just
impersonate
pissed.
like a captain or something. Like,
Oh, yeah.
I think she's
like
also like just kind of pissed off at like everything surrounding this because she's like, yeah, objectively good that they're not going to open fire on us, but also what the fuck are they saying about the Albed?
Yeah, what the
Like,
fuck?
Why does
And
it
she
have
literally
to be
says
that?
Don't throw me under
Yeah.
the bus.
Like-
Yeah.
like-
Everything's
right
like,
after
oh,
this-
stand down, losers.
Yeah,
Like,
she literally says that too. She says, "What was that about evil Albed?" And Shalinda's like, I do not understand it myself. All Yevon seems to be in a state of confusion." And I do like that they were just like, look, I don't get it either, but the word came down from the top. You just gotta be racist. And I like, who am I?
Yeah.
Who am I to question the top?
it's not racist if I'm just following orders, okay, Riku?
Why, yesterday, they called me out of the blue and made me captain of the guard.
Like, there's not even an onboarding process. They were just like, yeah, Shalinda can do it. Orin says short on believers, which I love that line because like it seems like a little bit of it seems a little testy. It's like, ooh, not testy. What am I trying to think? It's a little bit of an insult, you know?
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
short
It's a
on
little
believers.
pointed.
Shalinda says, yes, the chaos in the temples is worse than I'd imagined. It's horrible, and all the priests do is blame each other. I worry what will become of Yevon. But no, I must be the rock that stands against the swirling tides, right? Lady Yuna, I must tell you, your courage has been a great inspiration to me. And I like, she has kind of this big speech or whatever, and like kind of pouring her heart out. And Titus says,
Yeah, that's great, but we came here to see Maester Micah. Is he here?
and so I like that he just like, yeah, okay, Shalinda, that's great. We have
Yeah,
something
that's
to do.
real good. Yeah.
Yeah, that's real good. But she says she'll arrange an audience for us with the Maester and tells us to wait in the courtroom. And that's good. That's what we're going to do. And I like that Riku's like,
Hey! Hey! Wait! What was all that about the Albed lying and stuff?
and Orin says, simple. Yuna has become Micah's only hope. And Riku's like, okay. And Lulu says, just what does he think he can get away with? And Titus is like, time to teach him some manners. I'm like, oh, we're going up against Micah, baby.
Yeah, and Yuna's just like, yeah, let's.
Yeah. So I do like that. I like what Warren kind of says here, where he's like, oh yeah, now that like everything is fucked and like Seymour's gone and fucking Keenock's gone and like everything is just in shambles or whatever, like Maester Micah is kind of forced to continue to uphold the illusion that like, oh, Yuna's doing this thing, like she's part of Yevon, because like now she's like one of the highest authorities in Yevon, because like all the maesters are gone, so like just being a summoner is like, oh well, I guess like now we have to defer to Yuna in some ways. Like he's like desperate.
I really like how she's like, yeah, all the priests are doing is just like blaming one another. And after all the shit that we've been through with them, it's just like, it feels like when the Proud Boys were like fighting with each other and like splintering off into groups. It's like, yeah, good, get fucked.
Yeah, good.
Or when
good.
like Q is exposed to be a full like,
Yeah, right.
like, what do we do?
Yeah.
We were played.
That's good shit.
So you're telling me that JFK Jr. was actually sent? He's not unsent?
New Yevon drop.
But yeah, I feel like we're gonna have to wait around for Maester Micah for a little while to come in here and talk to us. So
Just call him Eminem.
Eminem.
So we might want to just take a break and wait for him to get here, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's an awfully hot Aeon pot.
All right, see you in a bit. So we're back in court.
We're having our day in court.
This time we want to be here.
Actually, this time we're like behind where Micah was standing last time, right? Like when he was like standing up on that balcony and like dishing out steamy noodle broths of justice onto us.
This is also, I think, where like him, Keenock, and Seymour were like conspiring at that one like cutaway scene.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So he's inviting us to his private, I don't know, box. His
Yeah,
judgment.
but yeah.
We could tell because he was wearing sneakers for sneaking.
Sneaking. We're in the VIP box now.
Yeah, the club suite.
Yeah.
A little better than the.
He's like, no, my voice is shot. Like, Kelcronso had a much better voice for projecting. You just come up here. I don't want to yell.
Yeah, just come up here. We got bottle service, personal bathroom. You know, you don't have to go to the public one. It's pretty good.
You don't actually have to watch the game. There's like enough to do up
You
here.
don't actually have to go to the bathroom, but you can if you need to.
Well, anyway, so the scene starts out, and Micah says, because he's already here. The scene is like, it begins with them already having met each other, right? So Micah says,
You have obtained the final Aeon from Unileska, have you not?
and Titus is like, well, we did meet her. And Eunice says straight up.
Did we say his first line?
Oh, I didn't have it.
Oh yeah, so his first line is actually he's there and he says, "Why are you here? You must go and defeat Sin quickly."
Oh, I didn't get that. I'm sorry. Now I feel like a fool.
He's like, yeah, what are you doing here? Like, you just finished your pilgrimage. And
Like you're not. Don't just come back. Like he was right there. Like why didn't you fucking fight him? Like
he was waiting for you.
Yeah, he's literally sitting there.
Oh, can you draw a picture? I forgot what he looked like.
Yeah, which one's Sin again?
I didn't want to cast the final Aeon on the wrong guy.
Sin's that dragon thing that you had in like the Puri whatever the fuck it was called.
Oh, yeah,
right?
we killed
like,
his ass earlier.
We already killed Sin. Oh, that was a different guy. Oh shit, sorry. Oh, that was your pet. Whoops.
Sorry about your security dragon and all the rest of your security, I guess.
Also, we killed it twice.
But Eunice straight up says, we fought and defeated her. And Micah turns around and he's like, what? He's like totally like, oh shit.
Yeah, he turns quick.
Yeah.
Old dude.
Orin says, summoners and guardians will be sacrificed for the final summoning, no more. And Micah puts his fainting hand up where he like touches his forehead with the back of his palm. He's like, I've got the vapors.
Like inches away from clutching his pearls with that hand.
He says, you have profaned and subverted 1,000-year-old tradition. Fools, infants, do you realize what you've done? You've taken away the only means of calming sin. And like, I do appreciate how like in universe how fucking terrifying this must be for Micah. Like, fuck Micah. But at the same time, I'm like, no, I can appreciate the like, oh my god, what have you done?
Yo, don't you just fucking hate it when millennials like subvert 1,000-year-old tradition?
Millennials are killing the final Aeon industry. Titus says, maybe that's not the only way. We've got to think of another. And Micah's just like, preposterous. There is no other way.
Yeah, he's like, literally, he's like, why? This is the way we do things. Like,
dude, he is losing his shit right now too. He is like flipping.
Also, the voice, like the like performance here that is going on is really good because he's like, you can tell he's distressed.
Yeah, he's not having a good time. And Orin's like,
the Grand Maester running away.
Spira has lost its only hope. Destruction is inevitable.
You, Yevon's spiral of death will consume us all. I have no desire to watch Spira die. And then
there's that name again. Use Yevon. Who you calling him Yevon?
Who's Use Yevon?
You. I don't know. No, you.
And then I feel like we get a big answer to a lot of our mysteries and questions here. Titus says,
who is this Yevon guy?
Lulu says, Lady Unileska also mentioned him. And then Riku's like, wait, Gramps, who's Yevon? And he says, He
Were
who
you
crafts
saying
the
you
souls
or
of-
you, Yevon? I was saying you, Yevon.
You've answered you.
Who will craft the souls of the dead into an unholy armor? You said you, referring to me, Yevon. The correct answer is you, Yevon.
Yeah, the Abbott and Costello of Spira, they have a bit that just kills anytime people say it. It's you, Yevon, who, Yevon, and what, Yevon? I don't know.
Who, Yevon? You, Yevon. Couldn't be then. Who, Yevon? Anyway, Micah says, he who crafts the souls of the dead into unholy armor, an armor called sin. Clad in it, you, Yevon, is invincible. And the only thing that could have pierced that armor, you have destroyed. Nothing can stop it now. And then he just like straight up wills himself into death. Like, he's just like, he has given up so much hope that he just like puts his hands in the air and literally just sends himself.
Yeah, so I can't
You guys are on
keep
your
track
own.
of this. Yeah, like
Yeah.
he poochies right on out of there.
Yeah. My home planet needs me. Maester Micah died back on the way to his home planet.
Micah's dead! Yay!
We got this legally binding contract that says he's never coming back. But I do like, I love that. I love that Maester Micah he despairs so much that he's like, fuck y'all, I'm out. And then just like sends himself by throwing his hands up, and then he just like turns into fireflies.
Yuna was such a powerful fail daughter to him that he just like fucking owned himself.
Yeah. Oh, it's incredible. Oh my gosh. I wish some real politicians would do that.
In the hit game Fortnite.
Yeah. But I do like this thing that we've just learned, right? That Micah told us or whatever. We're like, wait a minute. Yevon is the religion here in Spira, right? Like it is like the symbol of like good and order. And Sven? I cannot talk
Sven.
today. And Sven, yeah. And
Sven.
sin is like evil and violence incarnate, right? But like you, Yevon, like everybody's always like, everybody's always saying, oh, praise be Yevon or whatever, blessings of Yevon upon you. Like Yevon is sin. Like Yevon is the thing that creates sin.
I mean, it's, tale as old as time. God created Adam and Eve. Eve ate the apple and created the original sin. And then God took all of the souls of the dead and crafted an unholy armor called Satan and pilots it like a fucking like Gundam.
Yeah.
God is just the Gundam inside Satan. Jesus was the final Aeon that tried to pierce the armor, and
I love this turn of events for real.
So everyone just like praises Yevon out of fear? Is that what they're getting at?
Well, I think that it's unknown.
yeah, what my take of it is, that's the quiet part. That's the part that they never say out loud. This is the other side that Kamari was kind of referring to, where he's like, okay, everyone knows like, oh, we are the Church of Yevon. We praise Yevon and all that good shit. They don't know the connection between Yevon and sin, other than like, the calm happens every time sin is defeated. This is the way to defeat sin. But no one ever thinks deeper than that. No one ever, because, and it's kind of a thing that happens in religion pretty frequently, of like not asking like further, like not to like knock religion or anything like that, but like not asking further questions or anything. And then it kind of just being like, oh, well, that's where faith comes in,
You say you had a friend who would just keep asking questions in like religious studies class?
Yes, I do.
It was just like that.
Yeah. Where it was like, okay, you're not allowed to ask questions anymore.
Your friend could have saved Spira.
Shout outs to Theo.
Oh, that's right. A very ironic.
He's
name.
he's the friend that
I didn't even think about that. It's a very ironic name. That's really good.
Oh yeah. He's actually the friend who wrote in on season 1 with the review saying that I once as a kid broke his toilet, which is also true. So,
shout out.
Sorry about breaking your toilet, Theo.
And that's why sin attacks.
Yeah, and that's why sin attacks Spira.
You have to atone for your sin, Carl.
But I love this twist though. I think it's fucking great.
Yeah, it is really good.
And I like when Micah disappears, when he just like fucking wills himself into the next plane, like Walker like shakes his fist and he goes,
Disappear on us, will you? Rotten son of a shoe puff.
"Rotten son of a shoe puff."
Yeah, Mika was like, this shit's getting out of control. I'm going to Cancun.
Yeah, and then immediately like Shalinda comes in, and like Shalinda didn't see what just happened. She just walks in and she's like, "Where's the Grand Maester?" And everybody's like,
I like, yeah, Yuna's like, like she's trying to come up with what to say. She's like, I should probably be honest. And then Oren just says, he's not here yet. How long must we wait?
Yeah. It's like, ooh, good thing
you
he was
better
here.
bring us some complimentary snacks if we are forced to wait any longer for this old windbag.
Right. Shalinda says, "That's odd. I'll go look for his grace." And
That's
she
so
runs
unlike
off.
him. But yeah, it's okay, guys. This thing happens this kind of thing happens all the time. I'll just go get him. Totally cool. Just wait here. Like,
and that's the last we heard of Shalinda. She's still looking for him this
yeah, to this day.
To this day.
Yeah,
She's
the
never
legend
heard from
goes.
again.
That's what X3 is about.
I thought X3 was about Cyclops and
The Search for Micah.
Jean Grey dying, and then the franchise incidentally also dying with it because that movie sucked.
I'm waiting for Final Fantasy Logan. That's the gritty one.
Origins, where Ryan Reynolds plays Jecht.
That wouldn't be bad. He plays a lot of
He
video
would
game
be a
dads.
good Jecht, now that I think about it.
He played Pikachu. Why not Jecht?
It's true. It's true. So then Shalinda runs away. So there's nobody else left besides us now in the courtroom, right? Which is good because then a ghostly apparition appears to us. Ooh. And it's the kid we keep calling Titus's manager. It's the Faith or whatever.
Yeah, the Bahamut Faith.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, the Bahamut Faith appears.
It's got the cool little Bahamut hoodie. Sleeveless Bahamut hoodie.
Baby Bahamut.
Baby
Titus
Bahamut.
says, "Oh,
Baby
it's you."
Bahamut.
And I guess I'm just gonna call him Bahamut, I guess.
Yeah, that's fine.
All right. He says,
BB.
"Come to my room."
BB.
Baby Bahamut, BB. He tells us to come to his room, and Eunice says, "Okay." And Waka is like looking at Titus, and Eunice says, "Who are you talking to?" And they're like, "Oh, no one."
Yeah, and Yuna's just like, yeah, I must go see the Faith. And Aaron says, I see. And then it just kind of changes to the next scene where we are in the chamber of the Faith that we were before, where where it was revealed that this is baby Bahamut. And we kind of just see him like float down to that weird like Tide Pod that's filled with half man,
right.
half ghoul
It's like
or whatever.
Yeah, it's like a Jello salad. A little piece of fruit and shit's floating in there.
Yeah.
Would you like a piece of Jello? It's got a grape in the center. Well, I'm not made of stone.
So yeah, this confused me because like I don't remember like Yuna kind of like just knowing that Titus can like talk to the Faith.
I think
She seems kind of just rolling with it. Maybe like she kind of understands it because she knows a little bit about his connection to sin or something like that.
I feel like she's pretty sharp and is pretty good at like just rolling with situations. Like think of all the times that Titus like said some stupid shit that like really could have hurt Yuna, and she was just like, haha, yeah. Like she's just rolling with it, and like so like at this point I think she kind of like can like figure out that Titus can also see Bahamut Faith.
He also had that scene at Mount Gogazet where when he touched the wall of the Faith he blacked out and then like was oddly silent about it. So
she's probably been
sharp.
thinking
She's
about
taking a nap.
Yeah. She's probably been thinking about it since then. But she bows to Bahamut and says, I must thank you for the Aeon. And Titus is like, so what's up?
And then we get like a little like, it's like a little quiz, but we can't fail the quiz because I picked the wrong things. And I like not on purpose either.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was just dumb. Because he asks us, he says, so have you found a way to truly defeat sin? And I was like, not yet. Because I was like, no, we haven't yet. We haven't figured it out. We're like, that's why we're coming here, right?
Yeah.
And like, if you say that, he says, well, come see me when you do. We'll talk then. And I was like,
okay,
apparently that's not what I was supposed to say.
That's kind of weird because we can't, because I'm trying to think about it and I'm like, do you have to like get all the dialogue before this Like, is this like a fail safe so that if you come here before doing all of that, you have to go and do that? Because that's like things that happen in games all the time. That happens in Final Fantasy games all the time. But I don't think it's possible to get here without having all of that
It could be just
dialogue.
left over. They
true.
may be like in a previous version of the game, or earlier version of the game, they were like allow you to travel around before you figured it out.
I got the feeling that they were like, let's just put this choice in here to let people feel smart, because obviously they know the answer to this. Like, we just gave it to them, right? And I was like, no, I'm dumb. Like, I don't know. And the game's just like, oh, that's sad.
I mean, I did feel smart, because when you were like, yeah, you can actually fail this, I was like, God damn, I'm such a god gamer. I didn't even realize you could fail this.
Well, you don't really fail it, because like it just puts you back into the loop. You just say,
you just got to
that.
start the conversation again. You just lose time, as we say in the speedrun.
Yeah, right. Like it's funny because the screen fades to black and then immediately fades right back up, and he just asks you again.
You have
it
selected
just immediately
you,
gives you
referring
another
to me.
chance.
Save the game and quit, and if you haven't figured it out, ask someone else, you dummy.
Yeah. The options we get here are the Hymn of the Faith! Exclamation point, or defeat you, Yevon! Exclamation point, and then no idea. So, first I said the Hymn of the Faith, because, that's the first thing that all of my party talked about. And he says, we think the Hymn of the Faith might slow Sin down. And the faith itself is like, perhaps. And Yuna's like, you mean it won't work? And Bahamut Faith says,
a very long time has passed since your father became Sin. He may not be able to hear the hymn anymore.
I know it's a long shot, but we gotta try it if there's a chance.
And the faith says, yes, you must. I'm glad you're doing this. You have a good spirit, truly. And Titus asks a pretty good question to ask. He says, I'm not just a dream, right? And Yuna's like, a dream?
Yeah, like, what are you talking about? A dream?
And Titus literally says, it's a long story. And then Bahamut Faith says, if it works, what'll you do then? You need more than the hymn. And Titus is like, well, and then
and then you can choose the other. You
can
choose the other selection. Defeat you, Yevon. And Titus says, we fight you, Yevon. And the faith is like, yes, if you defeat you, Yevon, it will end. Tell me, what do you know about you, Yevon? And Titus says, oh, he's what makes Sin come back. Yuna says, Sin is his armor, it protects him. And then the faith, Bahamut, gives us a little bit of background and says, Yu Yevon was once a summoner long ago. He was peerless. Yet now he lives only for one purpose, only to summon. Which, that's Ball is life, but it's just summon is life. Dude only cares to summon.
Yeah, it's literally he's the same exact way as I am with gaming. I am peerless, and I exist only to game.
Neither good nor evil.
Yeah, neither good nor evil.
Pure
He is
gamer.
awake. He is awake, yet he dreams, but maybe not forever. And Titus says, yeah, that's right, because we're ending it. And Bahamut's like, yes.
Even if you defeat Sin with the final summoning, Yu Yevon will live. Yu Yevon will join with the final Aeon. He will transform it into a new Sin.
Yu Yevon merges with the Aeon.
And the faith says, then, protected by this new Sin he has created, Yu Yevon continues summoning. And Titus is just like, for all eternity, huh? And the faith is like, there is no such thing as eternity. If you end it, is there? And I'm
pretty
like,
cool.
Yeah, boy. He says, Yu Yevon lives inside Sin. Yuna, listen. When you fight Yu Yevon, we will help you. Promise me that you'll summon us. I'm afraid your swords and magic won't be enough. Please, call us. Promise. And she's like, yes. And he turns to Titus and says,
but when it is all over, we will wake, and our dream will end. Our dream will vanish.
And Titus is just like, yeah. You've been dreaming a long time, haven't you? And the faith just says, I'm sorry. And he goes, no, I'm grateful.
Mm-hmm.
And Yuna says, about what? And Titus is like, oh, nothing. She said,
and he's looking at Yuna and he says, hey, don't make that face. Come on, we're going to beat Sin. Let's see some cheer, okay? And Yuna's like, you're hiding something. And he's like, no, I'm not.
And he looks away from her. He just looks down the hallway and goes, I'm not.
Yeah, and then he starts leaving and she says, really? And then like he leaves the room and it kind of just shows Yuna and she says, "You're a bad liar, you know."
Oh my god, it's so good.
I kind of liked this as like an inversion of like how the interactions between Titus and Yuna used to go, where it was like he was like,
Yeah.
"Oh, you know, like we'll just come back here after you do the final summoning," and she was like, "Yeah, like like always smiling and stuff like that." And like now Titus has reason to not be smiling and to be like upset and stuff.
They're, like,
but
in inverted
he's
places.
being the strong one now and being like and saving face on her behalf.
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty good.
Also, when we entered Macalania Woods, they were talking about what Yuna's plan was when she was going to go marry Seymour. And I remember Auron saying, "Yuna's a bad liar." And Titus is like, "Yeah, she really is."
Yeah.
And so I love turning it around here and like Yuna being like, "You're a bad liar."
Hell yeah.
But I love this fucking thing about you, Yevon. It's amazing.
Yeah, really cool.
When he said Yevon lives inside Sin, like that was like, oh, you mean he's literally armor? I thought they were like talking metaphorical armor.
Yeah, no.
It was like, oh yeah, you know, he's like, I was there. He's like protecting you, Yevon. But like, no, he literally is. He's a piloting Sin.
Yeah, Carl was right. He literally is piloting Sin like a Gundam.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, I guess
Yevon is inside of my dad.
It's been a while.
He's a little nougat.
It's been a while since we've made an Evangelion reference, but I mean, like, this one's just too obvious, like, to even make the Evangelion reference.
Yeah. But I love this idea, though, that, like, because we're always like, why does Sin always come back, right? Like, that's the big question of the game. Why does Sin come back? And it's like, oh, you blow up his old last year's 1990 Toyota Corolla model of Sin with your brand new like Jetta, and then he's like, "Yo, I like that Jetta better," and he like takes over that one, and that just turns into another Sin, and like that's badass. It's incredible.
What's the point of having a Honda if you can't show it off?
Yeah, I even have a Honda.
So what we do is we put sugar in the gas tank.
But dude, I love the idea that like the final summoning isn't the reason Sin disappears for 10 years. The final summoning is the reason that Sin can't come back. Like, that's what's causing him to have, like, an unending life, is that, like, he can always just refresh himself with a new final Aeon at the end of a pilgrimage. So, like, this whole system of, like, sacrificing summoners and doing the pilgrimage and all these Aeons and everything, the point of it all is to keep you, Yevon, going.
We're basically fueling you, Yevon. It's like,
like Mega Man rules.
We're feeding him.
Yeah, we're feeding you, Yevon, and like keeping him alive forever. I love it. I love it.
That's such a weird twist. Like, oh yeah, we have to go destroy this thing, but no, we're actually just like making an offer, like a sacrifice and offering to it, so it disappears for a while until it gets hungry again.
Dare I say this is pretty Dark Souls?
We're keeping that flame alive, baby. Or we're not keeping it alive to save time.
Depending on which route you run.
I don't know, dude. I love like Final Fantasies, like all the ones past like 6 or 7 or whatever. They're all about their like big plot twists, and like this is the one, dude.
This is a good one. Like, this is a really good plot twist. Yeah,
it's very convoluted, but like because of the nature of games, it can kind of like drip feed you all this information.
Yeah,
because every time like I have a friend like, oh, so what's happening in the game? Like, well, this guy is like no. Imagine like Space Jam was about like them being Michael Jordan has to come and beat the Monstars, but the Monstars are actually like the incarnation of like everyone's like sin and like bad doing over the last 1,000 years. And then we become the new Monstars at the end of this pilgrimage.
Yeah, right. That is very Dark Souls.
Because Michael Jordan's dad is in there or whatever.
Michael Jordan has to go and kill his dad.
Yeah, I also don't like the idea that like it feels like you, Yevon, is wearing our dad as like a flesh suit.
Yeah.
It's very disturbing.
Yeah. Damn, this game's fucking good.
I know, dude.
Like the more I think about it, I'm just like, holy shit, this is a fucking good plot twist.
And we're also at the good point in the game where like you were saying, Carl, where like the game is kind of opening up and kind of giving us ways to kind of customize our play style now that like the sphere grid is really opening up, and now also we can like go anywhere on the map now, so we basically can just grind and kind of craft our party however we want.
Yeah, and it did it in like an elegant kind of way of like slowly ramping up to being like, here's how you customize, which I think is like actually really good. It's
like I feel like we just learned how to customize our Aeons like I don't know, like not even a month ago.
Yeah, exactly.
I know. And like this is like the last third of the game when we just learned how to do this. I guess that was also like maybe an optional thing if we actually like just skipped Belgamine.
Yeah. And it's just kind of a cool thing where like I think this does it a lot better. Like this is the only time on this podcast I'll ever say this, but I think 10 actually does it better than Final Fantasy 8 with how it's got like kind of a weird and convoluted like roundabout system that doesn't really make a whole lot of sense when you're first looking at it. But like the sphere grid and all of the customization options that you get in this game are like immediately like giving you like good feedback basically, and like you're kind of like, oh, this is pretty cool, and it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense, but it's not just like, hey, here's what you can do, have fun and do it. Like that's what Final Fantasy 8 does, which I think is why a lot of people bounce off of it and they're like, oh, this system sucks, this game sucks.
8 is also like to customize one thing, you have to lack another. You know what I mean? You put one status in your attack, you miss another. And 10 is like, you're just building the whole time. Like you're always adding to your characters and they're always getting stronger.
And then you reach a point where you're like, oh, I'm like the strongest I've ever been, but I can do so much more. And like, it makes me want to keep going even further in this.
Yeah. It's good.
Yeah, good.
Good shit. All right, let's talk about the last couple scenes here.
Sure.
So as we're trying to leave, Shalinda comes back up to the party and is like, oh, I'm sorry, the Grand Maester's nowhere to be found. And Titus is like, oh, that's okay, we were just leaving. And like, that is also what I would say if I had just murdered somebody and they hadn't found the body yet.
Yeah,
I'd be
exactly.
Like, yeah, no, I was just heading out. No big deal.
It's cool. I got somewhere to be anyway. It's cool. Like, just give us a buzz as soon as he gets back, and like, like we'll do a Zoom meeting or something. It's cool.
Right. But at this point, so because we have like a plan, right? We actually like enlist Shalinda for this plan now.
Mm-hmm.
So basically the party's like without reading every line or whatever, they're like, hey, maybe you can actually help us with something.
Yeah, I think Riku initiates this, right?
Yeah, she does. And she's like,
it's almost like at first I thought this was gonna be like a prank. It's kind of like revenge for like bad mouthing Albed.
Yeah, right. But she says, I need you to tell everybody you can to sing the Hymn of the Faith, like all at the same time. And like Shalinda's like, oh, that's weird, but I suppose so. And she's like, what should I tell them? And Riku's like,
a ship in the sky will sing the Hymn of the Faith. When they hear it, we need everyone to sing along.
Everyone in Spira.
And then Shalinda's even like, I don't know what you're getting at. And she's like, look, you don't have to know what we're getting at. Just do it. And Titus even says like, hey, if you do it, we may be able to defeat Sin. And she's like, oh shit, I'm on it. You can count on me. And she like runs off to do it.
I really love this plan and how like to us that makes complete sense. And we're like, yeah, we're going to be in the airship. We're going to be doing this. If everyone in the world is singing, it gives us a better chance at this actually working. We're kind of counting on this. So like perfect plan. But like for Shalinda, who doesn't really know that side of it and doesn't know all about it, like I love how this whole game is about religion and all of that, and this like this specific religion and stuff, and how like even this part of the plan with looping in like the religious person in it is like extremely theological and extremely like prophetic in a kind of way where I'm just thinking and I'm like, oh, in 500 years in Spira, they're going to be like, and then the prophet Riku said, there will be a mighty ship in the sky that is singing the Hymn of the Faith, and to do it, like everyone in the world must join hands and sing. And it's like, it's so good, like. That's so perfect.
Yeah. But yeah, she runs off to do that. That's the end of that scene. And then we're just back on board the Fahrenheit for the next scene. And we start in the hallway before the bridge, and we can talk to Auron before we walk in. And I do like, there's like a little like, not a final piece to it, but it kind of rounds out a lot of Auron and Titus's relationship, where he just says,
I must admit, I was worried at the beginning. But you've done well. One more trial to pass.
And I was like, oh, we finally got the acceptance of Auron. It did it.
Yeah.
Oh, he also says our stories will end together.
Yeah.
This is really
nice.
like, like this isn't him just like, hey, cool, good dude, you're getting your thing done, but like it's gonna be closure for him too.
Yeah, right, yeah.
Does that mean Auron is gonna go poof when the dreaming ends?
I think So
I kind of got that.
Or maybe
from what
he'll just
Aren
be
was
like,
saying.
my job here is done, and then he sends himself.
Yeah, maybe he does the Micah thing. Yeah.
No, then he just goes and wanders the desert or something fucking cool.
Yeah. I do like what Lulu says, where she says, "We'll be bringing a new calm, one that will last forever." And I'm like, "Oh, that's so good."
Hell yeah.
Some
A
kind of
final calm.
eternal calm. That's for my X2 fans. Anyway.
Or the fans who are playing this on Switch who see the prologue or the epilogue,
Right.
I guess, between the games called Eternal Calm.
Right. And then we get some closure. I don't know. He's working on it. We get some closure to the Waka thread.
I love it so much.
Old racist Waka.
This was a moment of being like, yay, me and Waka are boys again. Like,
I know. Here, you do it. Because we're all boys together again, so you take it.
Yeah, so if you go up and talk to Waka, like you can go up to all your party members at this point and talk to them. It's more or less the same kind of thing that it is any other time where it's just has them standing there, they say their dialogue, they have their animations, all of that. But with Waka, it actually like triggers a cutscene. And it shows Waka standing right near Sid. And he says,
There's something I want to say before the fight. I guess I didn't know anything about the Al Bhed. Didn't know anything. Didn't want to listen to anything. I was a big jerk.
So I'm sorry, yeah? Please forgive me. And then Sid just says, don't let it bother you. Hey, I'm guilty of hating those darn Yevonites myself.
He says darn.
Darn. There's a lot of
said darn.
And I really love this.
Slur.
I think this is a really, really good just like message in general, which is, there's a lot of folk in this world. Some of them good, some of them bad. That's all there really is to it.
And then Riku says, aw, now I'm feeling all warm inside.
Yeah. But I think that's a good point where it's like, you know, like in this episode, we've kind of talked about like the both sides thing and like, it can kind of be easy to fall into that mentality of being like
us versus them,
optimistic to a fault, I would say, of just being like, oh, you know, like there's, you know, we need to hear both sides because but I like this one better where it's like, it doesn't matter where you're really standing and like what side of the fence you're on. There's like good people and bad people. And that's kind of just the way it is. Like, you don't have to be like, oh, well, we should meet our enemies and like, you know, meet them halfway or anything or across the aisle kind of thing. It's more like, no, that's just the way it is. Like, we all kind of have a lot to learn.
Well, I think the thing here is that, like, we can kind of, in a way, say that Waka has been objectively kind of a bad person because of all this, right?
Absolutely.
But, like, what I love about this scene is that, like, that's a giant step toward becoming a good person. You know what I mean? Like, he actually did the thing you have to do.
Yeah. And it's not just like taking someone for their beliefs and being like, well, I can't really fault you because you're a believer of Yevon, so you're doing what's right by you, therefore you are good. It's like, no. He's doing what is good in his eyes, but that does not a good person make.
Right. And so I think they're like actually like trying to like, because like he's not just saying like, oh, I'll just not do it anymore or whatever. Like, he makes a apology to a ship full of Al Bhed where he can be like beaten up or whatever, you know what I mean? Like, like these are the people who he has wronged, and he like does it right there on the ship. And I was just like, Waka, my boy, me and Waka tight again.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Again,
admitting you're wrong is a very important skill to have.
Yeah, absolutely. And understanding that like it's okay to be wrong. Insofar as if you are wrong, you
gotta own it.
Like, realize that and own it and do better, you know?
Yeah. Good lessons.
Yeah, I was gonna say this has been lesson time with FFX.
With 3 dipshits.
Yeah, with 3 dipshits. Hey, if 3 dipshits can do it, so can you.
If Waka, the biggest dipshit of them all, can do it.
If you don't know something, it's fine not to know things. Admit that you don't know things.
Yeah. And ask if you can learn more about things.
And that's what we're here for, to teach you more things about Final Fantasy X.
which most of us are also learning as we go through it as well.
Yeah.
Maybe the good or bad people were the friends we made along the way.
I did talk to the rest of the party members. I do like what Kimari says. I think it has a nice little poetry to it, where he says, you keep walking the path forward and Kimahri will watch the rear. And I was like, oh, it's so good. Because I do
Kimahri is looking at Titus's butt.
Yeah, I was like, oh, I hate to see you leave, but I love to watch you go.
Yeah. Oh, man.
He does say,
because of you, Yuna still smiles. Thank you.
Yep.
Which is really sweet.
I do.
Yeah.
I love that. Oh, like so good.
I love what he says after that, too. He says, friends have saved Kimahri's life. Kimahri will treasure it. Kimahri is ready. Let us fight sin.
Ah, so good. And I am ready. I'm ready to fucking fight some sin. Which at this point, we can.
Yeah, we can do it.
Right? Like,
don't fucking test me. I'll do it.
But yeah, if we talk to Sid, he's like, all right, this is it. Final battle with Sin. Let's go. And now on our map, like when we select a destination, one of the destinations is just Sin. Like that's just one of the destinations we can pick.
All
now.
aboard.
Yeah, this is why the first location I went to was just the Calm Lands, because if you look at the actual, like, it shows you your trajectory, it shows you where you're going on the map, and Sin is, and like makes sense thematically and lore wise, like Sin is like in a section of the Calm Lands. So I was like, oh, I wonder what happens if I just go to the Calm Lands. Like, will I see Sin? Can I just like walk up to him or something? And I went to the Calm Lands and it looked completely normal, and I was like, oh, okay.
Speaking of the Calm Lands, so I think we're gonna end right here today.
Did you talk to Rin at all?
Not right here
on the ship or on the Calm Lands.
No, on the ship. Yeah, so after talking to Kimahri, I went up to Rin just to talk to him, and he says, Lady Yuna has become quite the summoner, a gentle nature, yet strong as steel. She reminds me of her parents. And Titus says, Yuna's old man was a priest of Yevon, but he married an Al Bhed, huh? And Rin says,
Lord Braska wanted peace between his people and ours. He would occasionally visit the home of those days.
So that's how he met Sid's sister?
They ran off together into the night. And then Titus says, sounds like love.
Yeah.
Like, kind of
they
like
had their own Suteki Dane.
And Titus says, wow, so Sid must have been furious. And Rin says, yes, he wouldn't talk to her after that. But when Yuna was born, they made up again.
Aww.
His sister took off for home at once, but then her ship. And Titus says, Sin? And Rin says, that incident turned Lord Braska down the summoner's path. And then
wow.
And Titus says, everything leads back to Sin. And then Rin says, but you'll put an end to it. And Titus says, with a vengeance. And Rin just says, I pray for your success. And then you can
awesome.
buy weapons and shit
That's
from him.
great. I didn't get that lore.
Really,
that's really
good. Yeah. Real nice.
That is cool, too, to think that, like, Braska was not always a summoner. Like, he wasn't always, like...
Yeah, he was just...
destined to do that.
Like a follower and just, like... wanted to bridge the gap between the Al Bhed and Yevon, and like fell in love with something, like very like star-crossed lovers kind of thing and stuff. And then like everything fucking blew up, and he was just like, well, guess I gotta go and fucking kill this fucking Sin. I'll do this shit myself.
My food just arrived and it's outside, so it's getting very cold very quickly.
Oh
So
shit!
I'm gonna
Yeah,
go grab it and bring it in.
Yeah, go
and
ahead,
I'll be right back.
please. Yeah. Another cool thing, while we're waiting for Curtis to get back, is that like if you talk to like Lulu and go through all of her dialogue, and also Waka, like they kind of are just like
Spira without sin. Why is it so hard to imagine?
Yeah, there's gonna be like what we're trying to do is
unfathomable.
Yeah, unfathomable. Breaking the chain. Her whole purpose is like, well, then what? Because she's been on multiple like pilgrimages before. So, like, what does this mean for? Millennials
like,
are fucking killing the summoner industry.
Yeah, it's like
the men have jobs.
It's like the Joker, like I'm just a dog chasing a car. I wouldn't know what to do with it if I caught up with it. No, but it does remind me of that, like that saying. I forget who coined it, but it's like it is easier to imagine like the end of the world than the end of capitalism, because it's the kind of thing where it's just like there's this like big thing that just everything revolves around, and it's so like no one can really fathom of a world beyond it in like any kind of sense, like practical sense, that it's like, like people have obviously thought about it and stuff, but like when you're facing it, it's like it kind of makes more sense to be like, oh no, Sin's just always going to be here, and the alternative to that is the world ends. Like a world without sin just is unfathomable, which is wild.
Yeah, that is. We only had 2 options for this whole game, which was let sin run amok, or just poof sin for like 10 or 15 years.
Exactly.
But now there's a third option that we've started going down. We've been philosophizing without you.
Yeah.
Goodness.
You'll have to listen to it next week on this podcast.
Well, we say a lot of really unkind things about your favorite thing, which is capitalism. So,
oh, you know how I love it. So let's see what is next time. Do you have the episode list?
I think we're doing Baj.
Maybe meet a certain someone that Mike may have mentioned last week. And we're also going to go to a potential area we haven't seen in quite a while.
Yeah, indeed.
Maybe get some revenge on a certain boss.
On an old friend.
That we didn't finish off last time.
Oh, yeah. I think it's also important to note here, I think this is probably a good time to make like 2 separate save files if you're playing along with the pod and going to do all the optional stuff. I think it was Mr. Zwanzig.
Curtis is doing that for sure.
Yeah. So I actually made one at the point of no return, which is a little bit later.
Okay.
Because I wanted to have more stuff kind of complete. Because, like, I would say that the things we're doing in the next couple weeks aren't going to overpower you. They're just going to get you, a little bit stronger for the stuff to come up.
Cool.
But there will be a point for sure when, like, into our side quests that we're, like, too strong to enjoy the end game content, and it won't be too long from now.
So coming up soon, split those save files.
Yeah, here or in a couple weeks when we actually do the Sen fight, because there will be some save points into that.
Yeah, I just assumed like, okay, end boss is like an option to go to now. This seems pretty much like point of no return.
Right? Yeah, we're not there yet. Yeah. There will be a point of no return coming up. Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess
when will that before we go down into the crater.
Yeah, right. Yeah, this is the lip of the crater, and then like
this is the fake out where everyone thinks, oh, once I go down the crater, I can't come back out, and then you discover years later after your first playthrough, you're like, oh shit, I could have.
Right.
Except we actually like know the names of like the pilot of the ship this time.
True.
Right.
Brother.
Limit break blitzballer, brother.
Dude. Incredible. He's so good at blitzball. Yeah, I guess that's it for this episode, yeah?
Yeah, brother.
Yeah, love to see that Waka closure.
Love me too. I'm glad that had such a like an actual close to it, not just like, oh, it's assumed that he gets better. It's like,
does he get worse or better in X2 if he's in that game?
Oh, he dies battling sin and never returns. Unless in Kingdom Hearts, where he's even more racist than now.
Because Disney.
Disney. Yeah. So do we have anything else to say about this section?
No.
It's cool. I like this kind of
I love
setting.
it.
I mean, it was kind of weird. Like you're just like going around talking and like this is kind of a weird plan. We're just gonna like crank up some jams that Dad likes to bump out to.
Play that good dad rock.
To put him to sleep, and so we can go inside him, I guess.
We just put big speakers up on top of the Fahrenheit. We drive up to Sin, and we're just like, things can only get better. Oh, and he's just like, oh, I love this song.
I might have a good analogy for it. We have to kill Dad, who has become corrupted and terrible and awful.
To save Dad, we must kill Dad. Sorry,
so we have to, in order to save Dad, we have to kill the corrupting force that's inside him, almost like some sort of like conservative talk show radio host or something who, spewed a lot of hatred and stuff into Dad's brain and made him become the thing that he hates most.
I'm looking
Carl,
forward
let's not
to
rush to conclusions.
I'm looking forward to our real life eternal calm. All right, Alex, would you like to explain the plan to us of how we're going to defeat our sin?
Thank you to Night of the Round for the theme music. Go subscribe to them on Twitch. They are still working through 7 and 8. And occasionally, I think our good friend Adam sometimes streams making miniatures. I'm not sure if he's still doing that, but go give him a follow too. Thank you to Nobuo Uematsu, Masashi Amauzu, and Junya Nakano for the game music. Rate, review, subscribe. Call us at 530-MATERIA or find us at every FNFF on all the things. A Podcast in the Sky will stream every FNFF. And when they hear it, we need everyone to rate it 5 stars on iTunes.